It is hotter than absolute right now. It's one of the last days before we're finally getting some type of cold front. It's been stagnant and hot for really the entire season so far. But I had a little bit of time this evening. I'm not just gonna let the weather get to me, although it's kind of getting to me right now. I'm back into a piece where I've hunted a few times. I've had actually a decent amount of really good hunts here, or at least in the general vicinity. And I know there's plenty of deer to be hunted. I found a little shed in here in the spring. It's a fun area to hunt. Bunch of big oaks, just a really cool kind of untouched, big, natural looking ridge top that runs down to a main river bottom. People definitely hunt this a decent amount later in the season, but I'm kind of banking on the fact that no one's really been in here too intrusively yet. You can get fairly far back into here, so I'm kind of looking to just get back and keep following sign. I'm already seeing pretty big trails up on these chestnut oak, really high chestnut oak ridge tops, and a couple rubs and potentially some small scrapes too. But I'm sure once I get onto the actual main ridge, I'll start seeing some more fresh sign. Got a really good wind that's just blowing me back from where I came from. Just came up from down there, but that was a hammer walk up to here, and it's kind of the reason why I'm sweating as much as I am right now. Feeling a little bit better now, but I'm gonna just kind of take it easy down to that main ridge, start walking that down, looking for sign coming off of all these secondaries, because I feel like the deer are gonna be down on these secondaries as they kind of always are. I don't expect them to be up in this really open ridgetop stuff until probably really late into the evening, but if I can get out on a point that has a lot of sign on it, I would feel pretty confident that deer are going to work up to the ridgetop. Probably not very early, but they can't lay down for their entire lives, so one of them's got to be walking somewhere this evening. I got to really think about what I want to shoot if something comes in front of me, because it's going to stay pretty warm into the entire evening, so getting meat off of a deer by myself is going to be a task to really think about before I just go shooting anything. But got to see a deer before that's even a concern. I'm going to take it easy down this ridge, and I'll see you guys when I run into something. Okay, all of a sudden there is just a ton of like really fresh sign, it seems. This scrape right here is, I would say for sure from last night, maybe even just like this morning. Getting closer to this high point up here. I'm freaking out because I feel like one could be bedded right up on this top, but it's also just like really hot and it's like been pretty sunny, so I don't really think they're just gonna be right up blatantly on the top. But I feel like the deer that are doing this are not that far. Like I've said a ton of times, it is really warm. I don't want to be backed off too far from where I think these deer are bedded, so I want to try to make a really good guess as to where they're at and push really close to them. I don't necessarily have a reason to believe that this sign right here is like daylight sign or would be evening daylight sign. It is just kind of up towards the top of the ridge in like the best feeding area, so I feel like a lot of this is just nighttime. But if I can try to make a better pattern out of what's going on before I run into deer, I feel like it'll help me figure out where these deer are kind of focused on right now, because they're probably not going to move very far from their beds within that last 40 minutes of light, probably. So I'm pretty fired up now. Just getting set up right now. It's just after 6. I want to just be in a spot where I can see a decent amount of ground. There's a ton of sign right up on that last ridge before it drops down to river bottom. Part of me is wondering if the deer aren't over in the river bottom stuff coming up the ridge into these oaks since it's so warm. still a ton of feeding sign in these oaks, but I haven't seen much for it, like as aggressive as the scrapes and rubs were up closer to that main ridge. Regardless, I'm gonna sit here and sit tight for the last hour and 20 minutes or whatever. I think there's a decent chance I could see something working down one of these ridges. Obviously, that's the hope. I think no matter what, I'll be back in here when it's cooler this weekend. And I'm looking forward to breaking it apart a little bit more because I feel like there might be some big bucks back here. Pretty exciting stuff. Got a deer coming down, way down the wrong side of the ridge right at me, I think. Doe. He's gonna come right at me. Oh, yeah, it's right here. It's not gonna work. No way. A tiny buck with him. I have to make a move here, honestly, because of front cover. There comes the doe. Dang it. She sees me instantly. Right on top of me. Behind that tree. Behind that tree. Here we go. Damn it. Surprised that I even got drawn on that thing and was actually able to. Yeah, it's that little 3-point or whatever down there. Jeez, mosquito. I got shook up from that. That was pretty cool. Both those deer are walking away from me now. I didn't even see a mature doe. I'm assuming. I thought I saw 3 deer at one point, but all I saw going away was that little, like, 2 or 3 point, just a little spiker, and then a doe fawn that came up to me. She was probably at 18 to 20 yards. I had it right on vitals and everything, but as soon as she stepped out from that tree, I was like, all right, that is for sure a fawn. But I got drawn, and I feel pretty confident that I could have made a pretty clean shot on that thing. So that gives me a lot of confidence on the ground setup in general. And judging by the fact that this is an absolutely terrible spot to be set up for deer coming from that direction, and I still was able to pull it off, I feel better about what I'm doing. I got probably 30 minutes left of light, and that was just deer coming down from this point right here, which I should have assumed that deer would be out there. I kind of did think that, but I just completely overestimated my setup, or more so was just really lazy. Now that I've sat down, I'm seeing other better spots where it could have been. Definitely gives me confidence in this spot. I definitely feel better about deer being up in these ridges rather than all down by the river. That's good to see. We'll see what happens in these last 30 minutes or so. I might even make a really small adjustment to this brush pile over here, just so I can have some more front cover. towards the end of legal here. Haven't seen anything else to the deer give up this secondary I'm on right now. Like I said, I'll probably be in here within the next couple days again. I think when the weather starts to cool down, we get a good cold front storm come in, knock a bunch of acorns down. Nice little mid-October reset. I think things will really start to light up after that. Hopefully the next time you guys see me, I am back in this spot with more action. Thanks for watching.